My wife is dead. The best Christmas present I could have gotten. When texts popped up on our smart TV, I confronted her, told our kids, and filed for divorce. It was a snowy December night, and we were all gathered in the living room, basking in the warmth of the fireplace. The kids, Emily and Luke, were excitedly discussing what they hoped Santa would bring them, and my wife, Margot, was sipping on her mulled wine, looking picture-perfect as always. Little did I know, our idyllic family scene was about to be shattered. We had just finished watching a holiday movie, and I was about to switch off the smart TV when a notification popped up on the screen. It was from some guy named Julian. At first, I thought it was just some spam or an old friend wishing happy holidays, but then more messages started flooding in. I can't wait to see you again. Last night was incredible. I wish I was with you right now instead of your husband. My heart sank. The room suddenly felt cold despite the roaring fire. I looked at Margot, whose face had turned as pale as the snow outside. She quickly grabbed the remote, trying to turn off the TV, but it was too late. The kids were staring wide-eyed at the screen. "Who the hell is Julian?" I demanded, my voice barely masking my rage. Margot stammered, "Jean-Baptiste, it's not what you think." But it was exactly what I thought. I could see the guilt written all over her face. Our perfect little life was nothing but a facade, and the cracks were now painfully visible. Once the kids were in bed, I confronted Margot in the kitchen. The tension was thick, and the only sound was the ticking of the clock and the hum of the refrigerator. "Tell me the truth, Margot. How long has this been going on?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She looked down, tears welling up in her eyes. 6 months, she whispered. "We met at a conference in Lyon. It just happened. I never meant for it to go this far." "Never meant for it to go this far?" I shouted. "You didn't just trip and fall into his bed, Margot. You've been lying to me, to our children. Do you even care about us at all?" She broke down, sobbing uncontrollably. "I do care. I love you, Jean-Baptiste. But things haven't been the same between us for a long time. I felt unloved, unwanted." Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. I wanted to scream, to throw things, to make her feel the same pain I was feeling. But instead, I just stood there, numb and defeated. The next morning, I knew we couldn't keep this from the kids. They deserved to know why their world was about to change. Amélie, our sweet 10-year-old, and Luke, our rambunctious 8-year-old, were sitting at the breakfast table, unaware of the storm brewing around them. "Kids, we need to talk," I said, my voice trembling. Margot sat beside me, her eyes red and puffy from crying all night. Amélie looked up, sensing the seriousness in my tone. "What is it, Papa?" Took a deep breath. "Your mama and we're going to live apart for a while. There are some things we need to work out." Luke, ever the curious one, asked, "Why? Did you have a fight?" Margot spoke up, her voice cracking. "It's more complicated than that, Luke. Sometimes grown-ups have problems that they can't fix easily." Amélie started crying, and Luke looked confused and scared. I hugged them both, feeling like the worst father in the world. "We both love you very much," I said, choking on my words. "That will never change." After the conversation with the kids, I knew there was no going back. The betrayal was too deep, the trust too shattered. I called my lawyer, Etienne, a rare gem of a man who had seen me through tough times before. "Etienne, I need to file for divorce," I said bluntly over the phone. "Jean-Baptiste, are you sure?" "This is a big step," he replied, his voice calm and measured. "I'm sure. Margot has been cheating on me for months. I can't stay in this marriage." We met at his office the next day, and I felt a strange mix of relief and sorrow as we went through the paperwork. Etienne was efficient, laying out all the steps we needed to take. "Margot will get served the papers in a few days. Be prepared for her reaction," he warned. When the day came, Margot was devastated. She begged me to reconsider, to go to counseling, to try and fix things. But my mind was made up. The damage was irreversible. Christmas came and went, but the joy was gone. The kids tried to put on a brave face, but I could see the pain in their eyes. Margot moved out, staying with a friend while we figured out the custody arrangements. One night, a few weeks after the divorce papers were served, I was sitting alone in the living room, staring at the spot where our family Christmas tree used to be. The house felt empty, devoid of the laughter and warmth it once held. That's when the news came. Margot had been in a car accident. A drunk driver had run a red light and hit her car. She died instantly. I was numb. The woman who had betrayed me, the mother of my children, was gone. The kids were devastated, and I had to be strong for them, even though I was falling apart inside. As the weeks went by, I found myself grappling with a whirlwind of emotions: grief, anger, guilt, and, strangely, a sense of relief. The woman who had caused me so much pain was no longer in my life. And yet, she was the mother of my children, and I couldn't help but mourn her loss. In the end, Margot's death forced me to confront my own emotions and find a way to move forward. It wasn't the Christmas I had envisioned, but it was the reality I had to face. And somehow, through all the pain and heartache, I found a way to keep going for the sake of Amelie and Luke. They needed me more than ever, and I wasn't going to let them down.